on, yeah. Only if Joe's on as well.
Jamal, Niaz here with Eddie Hearn. We just had the bad luck press conference. It was pretty much what we expected,
yeah.
Really, wasn't it? Fireworks from
it's always funny, you know, when you get a fight with rivalry. Yeah, off this one, yeah. Whenever there's a fight with rivalry, it gets quite petty, doesn't it? You tweeted me this, and when you think about how tough these guys are, and they're talking about an argument they had over Twitter.
And they got
do you know what I mean?
I
know. Well, actually, the truth of the matter is that there was a discussion for that fight to take place in Liverpool. Sometimes the fighter doesn't really get to hear about it because Robbie Davies couldn't make the weight for August the 2nd. So we spoke to his manager and talked about him fighting Ritson or a championship, and the answer was he's got 6 or 7 weeks, his weight's not great, so we have to fight. That's why he fought at 10 stone 6. Robbie Davies would take any fight that's put to him. That's what fighters do. So sometimes fighters don't quite get the full story. Nothing unto all, just he couldn't make the weight for that day. So it worked out that this fight was better suited for Newcastle because of the date. So and to be fair to Robbie Davies, he's right. He didn't have to take this fight in Newcastle. You know, he's well ranked with the governing bodies, WBA. He's won British European titles, but this is a big opportunity for him financially. World title eliminator, you know, chance for him to actually go and have a big statement win in a big domestic fight. There's a lot of people are talking about. You know, tickets are flying on a pre-sale. General sale today. It's going to be 8,000 or 9,000 in there. The atmosphere is going to be unbelievable. Cheeseman, Fitzgerald is fantastic as well. So this is a great card.
The fighters are doing a lot of favours this year. You know, obviously Paul Fitzgerald earlier in the year.
Yeah.
This one, they're doing all the promoters. Like this alone, these two fights are brilliant fights.
Yeah.
There's built-in storylines involved.
Yeah, of course, and there's lots more to come on this card as well. It's going to be a brilliant card, but you know, Scott Fitzgerald's been a bit of a revelation. I wasn't sure whether he'd win the Anthony Fowler fight, to be quite honest with you. Fitz has always been a little bit up and down, and he was, you know, his new nickname, the Madman, in the build-up to that fight, he was crazy. He's calmed down a little bit now. I don't know if that's good or bad, but I think he's got a great opportunity, Fitz, to go on. If he can beat Cheeseman, you know, he's looking like a big prospect on the British, European and maybe world scene as well. Ted Cheeseman, although hasn't looked brilliant in his last 2 fights, has got so much championship experience now over the distance that Fitz doesn't have. So, but he is getting hit a lot, and Fitz punches very, very hard, and his confidence will be very high after that Fowler game. So there are 2 fights that you could talk about and debate all the time. You know, when you talk about Ritson against Davies, Ritson blew everybody away at lightweight, and there was a time where we were almost thinking he was invincible. Took the Patera fight almost as a gimme for the European title. Patera was much better than I think everybody thought he was. Lewis struggling at lightweight, but was it that the opposition that he was blowing away maybe wasn't as good as, or you know, the wins weren't as good as. I think, yeah, I mean, I think that it was a massive kick in the nuts because that night in Newcastle, the atmosphere was like, it was one of the best nights I've experienced in terms of atmosphere, and I really felt that we were on the crest of a wave, talking about European Championship, maybe a defence, maybe St James's Park the year after. I mean, we were all getting ahead of ourselves, right? And then he lost, and it was like, I mean, it was a crushing defeat.
It's been difficult for you as well.
Yeah, but it's not about me. It's the fighters. They're putting their lives on the line when they go in there. So, you know, he lost, and we were all shocked. But I knew that he struggled at 35. Now he's up at 140. You know, it's a benefit in terms of the weight, but it's a disadvantage now you're up against much bigger men. I think that's what Robbie Davies is banking on a little bit in this fight. So there are fights that you can debate all day long. You know, Robbie Davies has been stopped before at light welterweight in a shock defeat himself. Come back, got revenge and won that rematch. You know, has looked really good since. So you can debate those 2 fights all day long, and that's what makes them such good fights, because they are 2 absolute, genuine domestic 50-50s.
Aside from this event, we've had a busy week as ever. Mexico, the one that British fans are going to be looking at the most from that card is Liam Smith. You've said that a big fight's on the horizon for him this year. Any clues as to what that could be? No, I mean, he'd love another fight with Munguia. You know, that was a brilliant fight. I think Liam Smith's one of the most underrated domestic fighters we've got. You know, I think he's been in the wilderness a little bit in terms of his profile over the years.
Now he's come back, wins against Sam Eggington, wins in Mexico. And people are talking about Liam Smith, you know, in the States, particularly in Mexico. You kind of forget that he's boxed Munguia and Canelo, so he's walking around like a superstar out there, you know. And I really feel that big fight's coming for him. Jesse Vargas is another great fight for him at 154. Kell Brook is a fight at 154. Yeah. And both guys would take that fight in a heartbeat. And that's great, you know. And I said that in the press conference here about it's so good when you look at a fight like Cheeseman Fitzgerald gets ordered by the board, right? Everyone was talking about Cheeseman Fowler, weren't they, before the Fitzgerald fight? All of a sudden he wins. Oh, do you think you can make that fight? Well, you never know till you talk to the fighters and the team. Ted, 100% I won that fight. Fitzgerald, oh, I love that fight, you know, and that gets put together. Once you've done the money, that just slides in, but the money gets done when people actually want to fight. Robbie Davies against Davies Ritson, both making great money, so they should be. You're going to sell 8,000 or 9,000 at the arena. It's a big domestic fight that everyone's talking about. But forgetting the money, they were both up for that fight. Then you've got to deal with the management to get the money done. But once the fighters say, yes, I want that fight, you know you've got a great chance. So, you know, Liam Smith's one of those guys where he's ready for all of those fights. Jesse Vargas would take that fight in a heartbeat. So, you know, I think it's a really good fight.